Hello and welcome to our 18th Trader Chat, our first Trader Chat for the year 2012. Without further ado, let's move on to our disclaimers, which are of course very important. The first disclaimer tells us that all trading involves risk and that we should be aware of and accept this risk before trading. Never trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Past performance of any trading methodology is no guarantee of future results. You should always bear that in mind. And no representation is being made in this webinar that any account will achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed. The hypothetical disclaimer tells us that all results should be considered to be hypothetical unless otherwise specified, and hypothetical performance results have many inherent limitations and, unlike an actual performance record, do not represent actual trading. Okay, those are the very important disclaimers that we are legally obliged to run through at the beginning of any one of our Trader Chats. If you have any questions about them, please email us. Let's talk quickly about using NetViewer, which is the software that we use for these Trader Chats. First of all, the best way to ask questions is to type a message into the chat window. Internet connectivity is a vital aspect of keeping these Trader Chats smooth and working properly. And so by default, we don't activate everybody's microphones, otherwise it would overload the system. So use the chat window, that is best. If you cannot hear me, you should be aware that there is a speaker volume control in the NetViewer control panel, which is usually to the right hand side of your screen. If you slide that upwards, you will hear me better. It's separate to your system volume. If you'd like to speak to me and you have a headset to avoid feedback, then right-click to indicate it and enter a message into the chat window. I would be very happy to open up your microphone and you can actually speak directly to everybody on the webinar. There is a bit of a delay in the audio, so chat questions are certainly preferred. Also, please be careful of mouse clicks because a bright arrow pops up with your name on it, which is great if you want that to happen. It can be a bit distracting if you don't. I see David Preston's having some issues with audio. Please let me know if you continue to have issues with audio, and unfortunately there's not much I can do about it apart from repeating myself. Right, we are reintroducing our first time at 20% discount because this is the first Trader Chat of 2012, so we thought we'd start the year off with a bang and bring back the 20% first timer software newbie discount. If this is your first time here, then claim your 20% discount by sending a private chat message to Paul Johnson at any time during today's Trader Chat. Okay, and take advantage of that 20% first-timer discount, which proved to be very, very popular when we ran it last year, and we're running it now only for the month of January, I believe. So only this Trader Chat and perhaps the next. A bit of an overload on the audio. Let me do that. I'll take my microphone down. Perhaps that will help. Okay, let me know if I've reduced the volume a little bit, so you might have found the volume has gone down a bit, but hopefully it won't break up quite so much. Okay, you should know, of course, we introduced last year the mentor scheme, where if you are new to Sentient Trader and you'd like to be mentored, or if you are an experienced Sentient Trader and you would like to become a mentor, then please get in touch with us. We do have now a list of several experienced Sentient Traders who are going to be doing mentoring for us in various different languages, which is great, and in different locations all over the world. If you would like to be mentored, then please send us an email and we will put you together with a suitable mentor who will help you with Sentient Trader, because of course, as I am fond of saying, there are two Sentient traders in the equation. There is the software and there is also you. And so, of course, the more you know about using Sentient Trader, the more successful you will be. So we will do everything we can to help you become a Sentient Trader yourself. All right. Speaking of knowing more about working with Sentient Trader, we are restarting our online workshops next week. There are still a few places available. There are intermediate workshops, but if you book now for the intermediate workshop, we can help you catch up with the initial workshops. The workshops have been very popular, and as a beta tester in Australia, Dennis said to me many years ago, the problem with the power tool is that if you don't know how to use it, it can be dangerous, and so we encourage you to learn everything you can about using Sentient Trader, and the workshops are the best place to do it. The intermediate workshops are all about the Sentient trading methodology, which builds upon Hurst's trading methodology. So there we go. Treat yourselves to some online workshops to get 2012 off to a good start. The next announcement, the final announcement of all these housekeeping announcements, is that the next Trader Chat will be in 2 weeks' time. There will be a Trader Chat next week, but it's not a Trader Chat. It will be a Hurst Signal Chat. We are going to be alternating Trader Chats, which are aimed at people who are interested in the more detailed and thorough information connected with Sentient Trader software. We're going to be alternating those Trader Chats with Hurst Signal Chats. Hurst Signal Chats are going to be a little lighter, if you like, not sort of detailed discussions about analysis and cyclic theory, but more simply how to use Hurst Signals. Our Hurst Signals, of course, we launched in December. It's been very popular. We have a lot of people following Hurst Signals, and so every second week we will be holding a Hurst Signal Chat, and every other week a Trader Chat. You are, of course, welcome to come along to both of them or all of them. I'd love to see all of you at every single one of them. But the conversation, if you like, is going to be a little lighter in the Hurst Signal Chats. If you find all the cycle stuff a little bit heavy during a Trader Chat, then you will find the Hurst Signals Chats perhaps a bit of relief, or a little bit lighter, certainly. It'll still be me doing it. I'll be waffling on for 45 minutes to an hour about Hurst Signals and about my favorite topic, cycles in the market. So, speaking of that, let's get into the meat of what we're talking about today. I thought that I would take a look at a cyclical review of what's happening in the S&P 500. Most of us have been away on holiday and doing all kinds of things, and so I thought I'd come back and have a look at what's happening in the S&P 500. So let's do that. I need to let me get rid of that full screen and take a look at Sentient Trader. Right. So let's start off with the big picture. If you have any questions or any comments at any time, please fire away and send them to me. I don't mind answering as many questions as I possibly can. And if you have your own opinions about the analysis, then let me know about those as well. I'm always interested to hear what others think in terms of an analysis of markets. So I thought I would start the discussion of what's happening in the S&P 500 at the moment with a sort of a long-term view, the big picture, if you like. This is the analysis that results from performing just a default analysis in Sentient Trader. I haven't done anything. I haven't created expert models. I haven't done anything fancy. All I've done is I have chosen an analysis start period, and perhaps, in fact, not a very well-informed analysis start period, but I've chosen the start date for the analysis to be sometime in June or July of 2002, which thereby identifies this major trough over here as probably a very prominent trough of, in this case, the 4.5-year cycle. And I think certainly if you've been to any Trader Chats before where we've spoken about the S&P 500, or if you follow comments on our forum and so on, you'll know that this is pretty much considered to be the accepted analysis of what's been happening in the S&P 500 up until a few months ago. What's been happening in the last few months is really interesting, and so that's really what I'm going to be speaking about today. But you will see, let me just point out a few sort of highlights, if you like, of this analysis, and so that we all know what we're talking about. The first thing is, of course, that there was a major trough here in either late 2002 or early 2003. I know that most people, myself included, in fact believe that this trough in March of 2003 was actually the 4.5-year cycle trough. But whether it was early 2003 or 2002 is really of academic interest for a trough which occurred 9 years ago at this point. So, and then the next major trough, the 4.5-year cycle trough, was in August of 2007. And a well-known commentator, Airedale, on forums who promoted Hurst's cyclic theory, Bob Chonsky, of course, started calling this 2007 trough the 4.5-year cycle trough very soon. And now, according to this default analysis, the major trough that we all experienced recently on the 4th of October 2011, according to this default analysis, has in fact been pegged as a trough of the 4.5-year cycle. And that is possibly a questionable placement of that trough. So I'm going to be really speaking about that and speaking about, was this trough a trough of the 4.5-year or 1.5-year cycle, or was it a less prominent trough? And at the end, I'm going to try and come back and show you why, to some extent, a discussion of the magnitude of that particular trough is purely of academic interest at the moment. If you're trading the 40-day cycle, you will see that it's quite possible to trade using Hurst's cyclic theory and Hurst's trading methodology. It's quite possible to make very positive, very clear trading decisions, even when in the back of your mind you're saying that might have been a trough of the 4.5-year cycle, or it might have been a trough of only the 20-week cycle. It's very possible, nevertheless, to make very clear trading decisions. It's one of the things I really enjoy, a little bit of an aside, one of the things I really enjoy about Hurst cyclic theory, and I've always found very powerful about Hurst cyclic theory, is that unlike Elliott wave theory, which is a theory I'm also very interested in, unlike Elliott wave theory, where you have possible alternatives in the analysis, often using Hurst cyclic theory, the alternative analyses, in fact, imply very much the same thing in terms of trading. The only difference often is the degree of aggressiveness with which you would trade a particular cycle, trough, or peak. Whereas Elliott wave theory, in my experience, when you have alternate analyses, those alternate analyses result in totally opposite trading decisions, which means you spend a lot of time pegged on the horns of the dilemma of what the correct analysis is. With Hurst's cyclic theory and analysis using Hurst cyclic theory, often the dilemma of which analysis is